Nehemiah chapter 3. And if you've been following the series so far, you will know that each point during the particular message begins with the same letter. And this time it's the turn of the letter T. So the first thing that I see from Nehemiah chapter 3 is that they toiled. Words that I picked out of the text there are worked, repaired, installed, rebuilt, hung, as indoors, and roofed. Now, as opposed to words such as watching, hoping, desiring, wanting, and wishing, those first group of words, of course, are verbs, but they are literally doing words. The others, although they're very commendable, the reality is that we will never accomplish if all we do is watch and hope and wish. The only way that we will ever achieve anything in life, regardless of the context, is if we actually roll our sleeves up and get on with the job in hand. And that's what they did in Nehemiah chapter 3. They toiled. We often see buildings, historic buildings, certainly with a commemorative stone that was laid in the early stages, and someone, maybe the mayor or an important person like that associated with the building perhaps, came along and they laid this stone with an inscription on it. Now, of course, it's a lovely stone, it's very pretty, it looks good, but the reality is that just because that stone was laid, didn't mean to say the building was finished. That was just the beginning. That was just in the early stages. There was a lot more work to be done after that. And likewise, whether it's a church, thinking to Nehemiah, the spiritual application of that, whether it's a church or indeed anything else in life, it might be a business or an organisation, or even indeed our own lives, just laying one pretty stone doesn't complete a building. There's a lot more work to be done. And so the first thing that we see from Nehemiah chapter 3 is that the people toiled. They didn't just watch and hope and wish, but they worked, they laboured, they toiled, they got stuck in. And that's the only way that we will ever achieve anything in life. The second thing that we notice from Nehemiah chapter 3 is that there was teamwork. As you read through that chapter, it's there. It's right at the front of the text, just coming out on a continual basis, that it wasn't just about one man doing the work, although the book is called Nehemiah after that particular person, and he was, if you like, the architect. He was the one that birthed the vision of the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem, but the work itself was done by a whole load of different people. We will accomplish more if we work together than if we work on our own. As a keen angler, I've been in situations many times, clear water in front of me, fairly deep, and I've seen predators come in. It might be a pike or it might be a perch, and there's a shoal of small fry in front of me, and a single perch has come in and attacked the fry, the shoal of small roach or whatever. I've also seen a similar situation with fry in front of me, but a shoal of perch come in, or other predators. And when they come in a shoal to attack, they are always more successful. Often when the single perch goes into them, the fish scatter everywhere, and the perch itself can be confused. It doesn't know which way to go. But when they come as a shoal, they are much more effective in terms of catching those small prey fish. And that principle applies to us in our lives as well. When we work on our own, we will never be as effective as when we work in a team with other people. And Nehemiah recognized that, and so he didn't just set out on his own. He would have had all the glory then, wouldn't he, if he'd have built the wall on his own, but it would have took a long time. Probably would have taken his lifetime. Instead, a team of people, all committed, all working together, all going in the same direction, achieved it in a much shorter time than one man could have done on his own. So the second thing we see from there is teamwork. And the third point that I want to make, the third thing that comes to me from reading Nehemiah chapter 3, is that they were, or the times were, temporarily trouble-free. We read in chapter 2 that there was a lot of opposition towards Nehemiah, and we pick that up later as we go through the book. But at this particular time, chapter 2, there was no opposition. It was a time, a little window of opportunity that they were able to take advantage of and to work. Sometimes when we're going through difficult times, it might be because of opposition, it might be because of circumstances. Sometimes when we're going through that, there is that window of respite. There is that little opportunity whereby, if we are wise, we will use it to take advantage of that relapse in attack, that relapse in pressure, in stress, or whatever it may be, of course, depending on the situation. But if we aren't, we think, oh well, it's come to an end, the opposition has ended now, we can just take it easy. But if Nehemiah had done that, then they wouldn't have built that wall during that time of temporary peace. So we need to be switched on sometimes to the fact that during difficult times, when it seems that everything is coming against us, there will still be little windows of opportunity whereby we can take advantage of them, and we can actually do something to relieve the situation. So that's what Nehemiah did during this temporary trouble-free time. He toiled, and of course he did it with teamwork. Lots of principles there that we can apply into our lives, whether it's in a spiritual situation, church situation. Bearing in mind this is from the Bible, this is a message that could be directly taken into that particular situation, but also in life in general, whether work or relationships or family or organisation or business, any situation. Those are principles, the principles of toiling, the principles of teamwork, the principles of taking advantage of those temporary trouble-free situations. They're all principles that we can apply into our situations.